So today I wanted to kind of talk about creative diversity and how energetic intentions for the highest good, what that means, um, and how it pertains to perspectives and awareness of yourself and balancing that along with awareness of others, and how it's about expectations within our experiences and where we place them and where we receive them within ourself and within our relationship and dynamics with others. Okay. um, there's a card that I just pulled that I feel I have some cards that pertain to relationships, and in order to pick the way to get into this topic of explaining it, I decided to pull this. I'm going to read the card and then I'm going to kind of explain how diversity plays into it. Okay, so for an example, it's a kind of just an example of a situation. So it's card number 28. I don't know if you can see it, but it says there are many right ways for us to behave. And it says, it is possible to live upon this planet with large numbers of other beings who believe and behave in a variety of ways and do so in peace. When you're able to focus in such a way and allow your alignment, even though with others, your alignment within, even though others around you are choosing to behave differently than you're choosing, if you focus on your own self, you will truly be free from the bondage of attempting the impossible task of getting everyone to agree on one right way. One right way would lead to endedness, which means the end of I'll just leave it there. Many right ways will allow external expansion, which is creative diversity, because we're all different. We're all the same. What brings us, everyone of humanity, together of the sameness is that we're human. But we all have, the different cultures or the different ethnics or ethnicity or skin pigmentation or communities or hobbies and interests and disinterests and morals and values and integrity and all these things that are important within, is not supposed to be something that divides, because it's more about experiencing through perception. So just because someone isn't the same as you does not mean that that they're wrong or that you're wrong. And learning who we are within ourselves entails of understanding, what feels right to you, so that you are leading your life correctly for your own beliefs, your own values of what feels right. Because there's polarity, there's a spectrum. There's like lots of spectrums in life of experiences, and that is like an array of beautiful colors, not black and white, which is outside of the box, not inside of the box. There isn't one right way, one wrong way. There shouldn't be a set number of rules or set rules that everyone needs to follow strictly, or else they're condemned, or else it just doesn't work out very well that way, because it takes away creative diversity. And creative diversity is accepting and experiencing people for whom they are, and be, a self-expression. It's about self-expression. And self-expression is how we receive and give love. And love meaning with anything, and relationships. And we have relationships, remember, with everything, not just people. It's not just intimate, like relationships with people whom you share your life with, and there's family relationships, and there's relationships with your food, there's relationships with your routines, there's a relationship with your job, there's a relationship, with kids, obviously, there's a relationship with your hobbies, there's relationships with your your body. You have a relationship with your body too, which is very, very, very important aspect that I don't think we all usually think about. Well, with creative diversity, it's about expanding your mind and higher learning and evolving. And there's a lot of things going through my mind right now, and I'm trying to pick this to keep this video not going crazy and talking about all of it. But I'm thinking of like with this card that I just read, with creative diversity, what you believe and your values and the way you communicate and the way that you give love, the way that you receive love, all of those things have emotional attachments, because there's emotions involved in everything, okay? And being able to question your own beliefs, your own values, your own things that you hold other people accountable for, or the expectations that you put onto other people, being able to question within yourself why and what it is about it, like understanding it, instead of just doing it because you think you're supposed to, or because you were raised that way, or you were told you were supposed to, but really expanding your own mind into finding out why, because it is you. It's you. That's how you represent yourself, and we should all understand why we represent ourselves the way we do, not just because you're supposed to, because there is no supposed to. That's black and white thinking, and there's a spectrum of of a polarity on there's many spectrums, like with archetypes, which is personalities within us, and on each archetype, there's a polarity spectrum. So even one archetype is not the same. And the differences of polarity, like the different ends of the spectrum, they're not exactly bad or good either, because they're balancing. So if you get too far on one end of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum, which in some sense could be thought of as bad, but you kind of need to understand both the dark and the light, because you use it to balance, to be able to keep yourself balanced in the middle for what's right for you, for your values, what feels right, who you are, for your integrity. And the creative diversity and being aware of others' perspectives and maintaining integrity for yourself through personal sovereignty of your own also, and balancing that out, well, you need to utilize this spectrum ends, especially in understanding the spectrum ends and the archetypes of other people. When you understand that, and instead of labeling somebody or shaming or condemning somebody, or creating a reality and trying to put them in that box of it, that's not really what it's for. If they're in your perception of your encounter with them, or your relationship with them shows them as a certain archetypal energy that's on one, closer to one end or closer to the other end, what you can do to harmonize that is really think about how to balance that. And that doesn't mean controlling them. That means controlling yourself, of how you relate to them, how you interact with them, how you look for the middle path with them. And there's so many different archetypes, and everybody embodies so many different different ways of how we function and how we handle things. And there is no set anything for anybody. We embody so much. It's all like fragmented pieces, which is what's creative diversity, because there is no given situation or given scenario where we're all like, this is us all the way through every situation. That's not how it is. But being able to balance, and within ourselves, the things you want to do with that is keep your own core self and core truths and your own integrity balanced. That's what you want to keep focus on, but allowing introduction and seeing and understanding of other things outside of you, of people who are different, experience different, live different. We learn from them. We learn from them. Not only do we learn from them for ourselves, but we learn from them for others around us, for endeavors that we will venture upon in life, and or have ventured upon in life, or reflections. I mean, we learn from them in so many ways. So many ways. It's like you can't even really put your finger on narrowing it down. I can't even right now. But if you really just start to really broaden your mindset and think about things a little bit more in the way that we communicate, and that also means in the way that you perceive others' communications, and that's in perspectives, in the way that we learn from people, because we don't have to learn based off of what one perspective we have of somebody is. That's not the only way and the only opportunity to learn from somebody or to harmonize with somebody, because we clash with them. That's some certain aspect of a personality that's clashing. There's other aspects and parts of you that is just like outside of your radar zone at any given moment, because you're so hyper focused on this narrow tunnel vision when you get around, maybe certain people who you're clashing with, or certain personalities or situations. Well, if you're only like tunnel vision, hyper focusing in on that aspect, which until you can open your mind up a little bit, typically that's what's going on, you're going to only see that aspect. So I feel like what this is saying is learning to balance and communicate better with people. It entails being able to broaden our own perspective, which is what we have control over, and looking at it from other angles, which is other perspectives, and letting yourself see them in different lights, and allow the balancing. Don't get out of the tunnel vision, which needs it's conscious work to do that. But I think that's probably all I'm gonna say for now about that. And I'm going to end this just kind of on a spiritual as fuck card, just to kind of put a little humor to it, to kind of keep, to think about it, and think about it in a way that's not so serious, as far as lighten it up a little bit when you think about it. That helps get out of that perspective. That helps get out of the tunnel vision when you really look at things in a different light. So, with that said, what do we have? We have exhale that bullshit. And what it says is, today practice the ancient meditation technique in inhaling the good shit and exhaling the bullshit. Think of the good shit like puppies and pandas and pineapple. Or think of things that don't start with the letter P. Breathe that in like it sparkles. Exhale bullshit stuff like anxiety, self-doubt, and resentment. Let it leave your body like the dust being cleared out. It works. At the very least, you'll have an idea about what stuff you like and what stuff to dump on your therapist. There you go. It's a way to start focusing on that. What that made me realize is also that when we look at things like the Zodiac, and we look at things like what to talk about, we're always so hyper-focused on ourselves, right? And with emotions, on how we feel about things, which is very important. I'm not saying it's not. But start trying to look at it also in ways of how to get out of that perception and accept that. And instead of focusing on, dwelling on, and hyper-focusing on the way something makes us feel and how to overcome it, if you shift your focus into how to broaden it to be able to understand it, instead of, which brings you out of the victim mindset, which is out of your control. So that's perfect. Exhale that bullshit to your therapist, and in that way, leave it there, let it go, release it, and then start to look at the ways of how you can take the awareness of others and balance and harmonize it with the awareness of yourself, which is about experience and learning how to love experiences within other people and the experiences that they give you, which is energetic intentions for the highest good. It's understanding people are different, and that's creative diversity. And energetic intentions for the highest good of all involved is understanding how to harmonize and balance duality with people and knowing that life is more than just us. It's not, that's being responsibly selfish, is doing what you need to keep yourself in check, to keep yourself balanced, keep yourself good, so that you can entail treat others the same way. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it on that note. I think that's a good place to leave it. So I hope you have a good day. Thanks.